And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to FSL 2020. We're just about to jump into game here in the lower bracket. I'm Spoot. He's still hungry. Casts.
Actually, a bit hungry now. Like we ordered lunch.
Yeah.
We're kind of waiting for it to arrive, but
Okay.
at this point we're looking at the lower bracket. I feel like I should be a bit more careful about when I say losers bracket. Lower
Yeah.
bracket sounds a bit more palatable. But right now in picks and bans, we do see the least knowledge banned out on the blue side by Winter, and on the red is Mythus.lady, and both these teams first foray into the FSL haven't really had the best first game of the day, which
Yep.
explains why they're in the lower bracket. But right now they're looking for a chance at redemption because this is a double elim tournament. So if you sort of win your way through the lower bracket, you can actually fight for a
Mhm.
chance to go back into the finals in the upper bracket. So we'll have to see if they can do that because it is a long journey ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the question on my mind right now
Mm.
is whether or not Aphelios is still,
Dun dun
prioritized.
dun, because it is normally the red side that bans it.
Yep.
I don't know. Okay, they banned the Varus, which is not
Mhm.
bad, but right now the question is last ban, Aphelios, Diana, Mordekaiser, Misfortune, which okay,
Yep.
Misfortune has been banned out. So there are still three options that, both teams might want to look at.
Yeah, a lot of power picks coming into the start of the season, so Aphelios may be falling off
Hmm.
because, like we saw in the previous game, the Leona is quite a bit of a hard counter
Yeah,
into him.
yeah.
Instead, we're going to see the Riven being banned out
Okay.
and the top side. So I'm actually not sure if Riven is the strongest champion right now. I think I would prioritize the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, I would definitely give the Mordekaiser a bit more of a ban attention. But in this case, they're gonna give the Riven, or excuse me, Riven, the Philios over to Velasquez, as the previous game she did pick it up to a bit of a unfortunate end in this
Yep.
case because like we saw the Leona was the counter pick so to speak in game one. We'll see if Mythus.lady decide to do that. Instead, it might just be the Morgana or Yumi being hovered over. I would like to see the Mordekaiser here. Not so much a big fan of picking bot lane so early, but you do what you want.
Yeah.
Caitlyn Morgana in the bot lane, a bit of a tricky lane to deal with, but also quite bad if it doesn't snowball.
Like you were talking about previously,
Hmm.
Caitlyn not good if you don't
Yeah.
snowball. You come off the lane, not even a hit.
Your mid game is
You're
like
just screwed up.
non-existent.
Yeah.
You would just become a big like cannon minion. You're worse than Tristana at sieging, and
Mhm.
the only thing you have is your range, which you can't abuse because you don't have auto attack speed. Auto attack damage rather.
Yeah, so this is Aphelios Zyra.
Hmm.
I think a stronger lane than the Aphelios Brom.
Yeah.
Definitely showing that you want to step up slightly more. Uh, we're gonna see if Velasquez is gonna be able to
Hmm.
capitalize on picking such a strong champion. Now that you don't have Leona on the opposing side.
Interestingly though, Zyra has always been like a historical counterpick to Morgana because you really want to break the black shield early on, and Zyra with a high base damage
Yep.
is actually used pretty well with Morgana as well as a high auto attack range. Traditionally, you always see like two counter picks or three counter picks against Morgana. It's always the brand Zyra as well as the Nami, right?
Mhm.
So you have your pick of the lot. In this case, Zyra with her auto attack range should be able to deal with this bot lane a bit more and give Caitlyn a run for her money. Meanwhile, on the opposite side though, the last pick before they advance to the second ban phase is going to be a Nocturne, and I feel like in this patch, Nocturne is actually pretty strong because
Yeah.
of the Sanguine Blade as well as the interactions with Conqueror. Quite a high value champion if you know what you're doing and how you path on the map properly. The difficulty is if you fall behind because of, like we talked about earlier, EXP issues.
Mhm.
You don't get level 6 as
Yep.
quickly, right? So it can become a bit of an issue if your Nocturne doesn't get a hit in the game.
Yeah, you're batting away. I mean, I'm not sure what these bans are. You ban away the Riven, you ban away the Sinjar. I'm not exactly sure what they're going
Hmm.
for on the side of Mythus.lady, but I guess I can sort of see it. Jarvan 4 and Sinjao, if you fall behind against them, you're not gonna have
Right.
the best of days. But that still does leave up the Lee Sin, still leaves up the Olaf.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of jungle-centric bans here, which aren't necessarily the best thing to do, especially when they're higher priority
Yep.
bans available. Like you said, Lee Sin definitely one of the high-value ones. The one that stands out to me is actually Echo. Echo is
Oh yeah.
really high value in the jungle right now, as well as in the mid lane.
Hmm.
Left completely untouched this game. I'm surprised neither team has sought after it at all.
I mean, I don't think we really see Echo in FSL much.
Mm.
Maybe it's just a champion pool,
Yeah.
something they don't really play. Um, but yeah, as it stands, I'm pretty curious who's gonna go into this Vladimir. I mean, pretty strong sustain, pretty strong late game. You
Yeah.
want something that can deal with him early, and I'm not quite sure what that's gonna be. Maybe
Right now,
Cassiopeia?
if they're looking at Ornn, so this could be the makings of definitely going to be a top lane Ornn, right? But
Yeah,
a
you need
possible,
AP.
Yeah, they definitely do need some sort of AP coming in. So I feel like in the mid lane against Vladimir, you always want something that can control when it comes to range. So to fit the theme of what their composition is looking to do, I think Orianna as a enabler, right?
Yeah.
These utility pick would be pretty decent in the mid lane, especially because it is into Vladimir. The range helps a lot early on.
Oh,
Right.
there's a Kled though.
Kled into the Ornn, a bit of a bully lane for the Kled, especially when it comes to trading. But of course, Ornn, like we were talking about earlier before the broadcast, some changes to the way you tend to build Ornn nowadays. You max the knock up first, the E. I see a lot of people, still maxing Q, which is definitely the wrong way to go.
Yep.
The Q isn't necessarily the best tool for trading anymore because of the delay that comes out on the second half. A lot of the damage is on the pop-up of the Q. So now, most people actually do max E and use the Q as a way to proc the E.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not much I can add
Yeah.
to that. Yeah. Here's the thing though. I mean, should you like we were talking about? You ban the Jarvan, you ban the Xin Zhao. Why are you banning Xin Zhao? You can ban Olaf. I mean,
Olaf, right? Yeah.
so the thing with Nocturne
There you
is
go,
you can
Orianna.
fear someone else to go away,
Mhm.
but when Olaf has ultimate, you're not gonna do it. He's just gonna keep
Yeah.
charging at you. So this is very questionable for me, but we'll see how it goes, I guess.
I do like the Mythus.lady. Bans aside, the composition
Yeah.
makes sense to me. You have Orianna as the utility pick to sort of supplement the dive coming from Nocturne and Ornn. Both of these champions want to sort of play the front line and back line, so you kind of a method of delivering the ball in for the shockwave. Caitlyn Morgana though is going to be the tricky one because if they don't come out ahead in lane
Yeah.
like we said, they will have zero presence in team fights. That being said, on the opposing side, a lot of threats available. Once more, it's a 4 damage threat composition. We have Aphelios, Vladimir, Olaf, and Clit. If you're looking at this from a jungler perspective, I'm quite curious which lane you'd look to hit because you do have some ideas in the jungle. I feel like in this case, you kind of want to get Aphelios ahead to make sure the power curve starts early. But at the same time, Kled as a split pusher against the Ornn can have some strength there in itself.
Yeah, I still have a lot of questions. Mostly around Velasquez on
Mhm.
this Aphelios. I mean,
Has it
we've
impressed you?
s- I mean, yeah, that's why I have a lot of questions. I guess. I mean, you've prioritized the champion twice now. The first time you get screwed over by Leona. Now
Yeah.
you're against Caitlyn Morgana, quite a bit of a oppressive lane,
Mhm.
especially earlier on.
Mm.
I'm not quite sure if Velasquez is going to be able to step up to the plate.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd like to be proven wrong, especially when paired up against a bit of a damage dealing support like the Zyra.
The thing about Aphelios into the Caitlyn is that level 1 Aphelios with the Calibrium has the similar level range as
Yeah.
Caitlyn when it comes to dealing damage. In addition, you also have your Q, which makes the level 1 a bit more beneficial for Aphelios Zyra, especially if you know how to plant the seeds properly on Zyra. It's a skill that
Yeah.
it requires a bit more practice, but definitely you do have the ability to like cheese level 1, cheese level 2. So there are ways for the bot lane to get a hit by themselves. Whether they can do that is a whole other question because you're very, curious or at least doubtful of this bot lane's duo to carry on Aphelios. I have to supplement that with the fact that right now, at least they do have other options in the form of Vladimir, which as we all know, Vladimir in the late game a bit of a threat, and not really much that the opponents can do to deal with it in the composition because fighting front to back is only idea or only something they can do if Ornn stays even.
Yeah.
If Ornn is way too far behind, there's no way they're going to be able to kite back.
Absolutely. I mean, we also have to take a look at the junglers because let's be real. Olaf does come online much earlier than the Nocturne.
Like
so
level 2, I think you.
yeah, you can
level
go
2
for a
and blue
gank
buff,
of
you just
two-
run
yeah,
it, right?
woo!
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, if you're this Olaf, you should be looking for early
Mhm.
ganks. You should be looking for advantages when the Nocturne cannot answer you.
Yeah.
And if you get your lane sufficiently ahead before the Nocturne comes online at level 6, that just makes it so much more difficult
Yeah.
for Now to come online.
I think especially one thing I noted is because EXP is such a big issue for junglers right now, if the Nocturne gets put behind in terms of camps, the Olaf is aggressive, steals jungle camps away. Nocturne hits level 6, could use Paranoid to gank a lane, but then, you're something at like 2 levels difference, where you're level
Yeah.
6 trying to gank a level 8, even though you have a laner there to help you, it might be a bit more tricky, I think. So we'll have to see what the timings work, how the timings work out for this Nocturne in the jungle, as opposed to the Olaf, who is good all stages of the game. I feel like level 6 is just like a small bonus. You don't play for Olaf level 6, right? You play for the ability to hit your axes and hit the ganks very early on.
I cannot stop thinking about the Xin Zhao ban. Honestly, why are you banning Xin Zhao?
I feel like you're super tilted. It's like
I'm very
you're looking at
tilted.
this lineup of bans
Yes.
on top of your screen like, this makes zero sense to me. I don't know how I'm going to analyze this.
I mean, this is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, Yeah, but Mythus.lady, I'm not sure why
I feel
Xin
like
Zhao and
all
Gregor
the
are getting
bans
banned.
on the winter side is like, okay, it's good,
Yeah.
it's smart. There
Yeah.
is some sort of like
Yeah.
sound strategy to it, but on the other side, it's just like, I don't like Xin Zhao, I don't like playing against Xin Zhao, I don't like seeing it
Yeah.
in my game, the
Ba-
name itself freaks me out or something, it's like ban, you know?
Ben, get out of here.
Yeah, I don't want any of that at all, right? So,
Yeah.
um, if they lose this game, which, you know, still very early to say, just
Okay.
looking at the state of things, might be one of the things we call into question. If they progress further into the tournament, might be another thing we call into question. The idea of, are there bans, you know, more for the sake of comfort, or is this a meta-focused thing? We'll have a bit more to analyze in the aspect if they move forward, but right now it's just one of the things, you know, you want to keep in the back of your head. Don't have to pay too much attention because, you know, the compositions themselves locked in ready.
Yeah.
See how this goes as we jump into the game relatively soon.
Is it agreeable that both junglers should be focusing towards the bot side? I mean, if you have Kled against Ornn, honestly, you're
Yeah.
not going to be able to do much in that lane.
Unless there's like a big skill difference, I feel like you should just focus about lane.
Yeah.
One thing is to get the Aphelios a hit, and the other for the Nocturne, you kind of have to cover the bot lane a lot more because Zyra, Aphelios as a lane is gonna push.
Yep.
Like the moment Equilibrium is done and you swap over to like the Infernum, once you finish and you swap out your guns, the lane will push, like no doubt about it, right? So Nocturne as a jungler should be covering the bot side. Meanwhile, like I said, Kled versus Ornn, I think from an analytical standpoint, because you have Conqueror on the Kled, should be self-sufficient just trading out over time against the Ornn.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on the rift right now, but we do see a bit of a pause. Shouldn't
Just
be.
a small one, yeah.
Hopefully, it's a small one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot the train of thought I was going for.
I do like that when it comes to the runes and masteries, or in this case no more runes, just masteries, right? Both junglers have gone for things that you would expect. So Conqueror on Olaf, because you want to see early action, you can proc them very quickly with not only the axes but your autos as you're chasing them down. In this case, it's not Conqueror for the Nocturne. Instead, it's going to be the lethal tempo. And what that signals to us is that you're basically playing for the level 6 fear into the increased attack speed ganks, right? So you want every gank to be as invested heavily as possible and work out, right? It also allows you to get presence of mind for the cooldown reduction.
Yeah, but honestly, take a look at the runes across the board. We don't see, you know, anything too peculiar other than the lethal tempo. Pause is finished. So
Level 1 shenanigans might be a thing here with
Yeah.
Ornn in, but you can see the stack is coming through. Yeah, I think if I were oh, hold on,
ooh.
Dark Binding might be coming through, but Zara might have to be very careful about her spacing here.
Yeah, it looks like she's not gonna overcommit.
Dun-dun,
On the edge though.
dun-dun. Dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun. Oh, okay, she's gonna spawn. Yeah,
Alright.
it's fine. Alright, so all members on the side of Mythus.lady is gonna back off. Meanwhile, Winter here getting some advanced information, some early damage as well on top of the Orianna. So you can see a bit of gold in the pocket of the Zyra already. 15 gold. Small wins, baby.
Basically win the game.
Yeah.
Like, with 15 gold, it's done.
Look at this. The early itemization from Ornn is actually super aggressive because you, based on the passive, you can get items in lane, right? So what she decided to do in this game was go for refillable potion, the rejuvenation beat, and 2 control wards. So this should give a lot of information about how safe their jungle is, and also allow you to just sustain up in lane. Of course, this also means that Ornn is just going to be like bent over for the next 3 minutes, right? Until you get certain core items, or at least base items, there's no way you're dueling, or at least trading.
Yeah, I mean, playing very defensively, I can agree with that. But that 5-man stack we saw earlier, that just allowed for much more information to go to the side of Winter. You can see that there's a ward in the top side
On the Raptors, right?
Yeah, on the Raptors right now. So if the Nocturne goes up there, they're going to be able to see it.
Yep.
Gonna give a lot more early information to Olaf for a potential invade.
The only thing that the Olaf can take away is the rip buff, but at this point, you know, if you are able to control the rest of the camps, it doesn't matter because they respawn much quicker than the buff themselves. You take 2 Raptors equal to the gold, or at least the EXP from the rip buff, so all fine and dandy as long as you can play around that. In fact, Olaf going for a full bot side clear, so we'll be able to hit level 3 in a bit. Meanwhile, level 2 already being hit on the side of Zyra, having to pop the heal in advance, flashing forward. A lot of damage down, and getting the first blood is Velasquez. And proving you wrong a little bit here, Spoots, with the aggressive play hitting the level 2. Even though they ate the binding, they still managed to find the kill.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct when you said that they do have an early game advantage. They are not gonna go in. Okay.
If that Q hit though.
Yeah, if that Q hit, obviously you're going. But Yeah, I mean, you hit early level 2 on the Aphelios and the Zyra. They pushed, like you said. They pressed the advantage and
Yeah.
they got 1 kill for their efforts. I think, respectable.
Abuse the... Oh. Feels bad.
It's bad, man.
You abuse the range on the Equilibrium as well as the ability to spawn the roots. So, I mean, in that sense, you do have the level 2. So, great that they recognized, okay, we have the advantage here in the bot side. Let's play aggressively. Let's capitalize on that. And now they find themselves early leads in the form of a first blood gold for the Aphelios. Meanwhile, junglers will meet each other in this top half of the river. Smite is available for neither of them, though. So, as this fight breaks out, it might be a bit tricky. Both teams collapsing right now. It looks like it's going to be the Nocturne in the center of it all. Might have to flash away. A lot of damage down. Meanwhile, Vladimir pulling out already. Ignite on top of the Vladimir. Flashing forward. Might be able to get the kill, though. Moving in. The axe not really sticking, but it's going to be the auto attack that gets the kill. Meanwhile, in the river, already getting demounted is Kled. They're looking for a bit more. Having to pop the barrier. The axe actually almost picking Cher Rose up. The Orianna very low on health now. Having to clear this wave out before recalling.
Yeah, you definitely have to blame the Nocturne there. I mean, you should not be going in under any circumstances against an Olaf, let alone an Olaf with both solo lanes pushed up. I mean, you're just inviting a gank, and even if they don't come, you should not be winning a 1v1 against an Olaf at this stage of the game.
I feel like when the fear was popped on the Nocturne, that was the point you overcommitted already. Because you can't be trading once you use the fear, the only form of CC, and then backing off, right? So definitely overextending, not knowing your limits is the Nocturne. Bot lane, the threat's still pretty evident here as triple Doran's Blade is the instant buy here coming from Velasquez. Meanwhile, topside Conqueror is available, but Snell is just going to be pretty happy being demounted and backing off. Trades in the mid lane, finding a kill already and looking to turn this one over, picking up the X will give them the double. The Q is going to get the kill here, and that's a double picked up by the Olaf early on. You trade the Vladimir across, but this is a 2-0-1 Olaf who has yet to buy. My goodness, what a threat.
Let's ban the Xin Chao, guys. No, I mean, what? It's 2-0-1 on the Olaf. You screw up your early game. This Olaf is online, hands down. He's gonna be a menace for basically the next 15 minutes.
Base with 1.8k, jeez Louise. You get the Cinderhawk buy, just like walk into the jungle, duel whoever you want, don't care. This is not even gonna base. Super alpha chat mode. Go top side, take the Scuttle Crab again.
Okay. If you're Mythus.lady right now, you have to put down what you have to invest in a lot of vision. If this Olaf shows up remotely anywhere near your lane, you have to you just have to ping it. You have to understand that you can't push up. You just have to back off.
Yep. Level 5. Oh my goodness. This is insane. Go back, gets the challenging smite as well as the Balmy Cinder. So no Cinderhawk just yet, but actually a lot of vision being picked up. So this is good. 2 control wards as well as the sweeper. I like this. Yep. You talked about how Mythus.lady has to put vision down. Very tricky when all this vision control is in the pocket of the Olaf right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just Olaf understanding what she has to do in order to facilitate, successful ganks. And I like that the entirety of Winter right now is actually just placing down a lot of wards and, gaining some vision control across the map.
Level 5 being the state right now for the Vladimir. Meanwhile, Orianna already picking up level 6, has the ultimate available. We're still looking for the paranoia on the Nocturne though. Remember, we're talking about this. If you fall behind the jungle, your timings are going to be super late. Right now, the Olaf is level 6 compared to the level 6 of the Orianna. That's fine. If you're coming for a gank, get evenly matched. Nocturne is starting to fall behind a little bit more. I'll be very afraid if they look to force a 2v2.
Yeah, you're still okay if you're Nocturne right now, but once they get this dragon, that's where you're starting to fall into a bit of the danger zone because you're conceding pressure across the map and you don't have the level advantage to make up for it. Doesn't look like they're going to contest this dragon though. I think Olaf just gets it for free. Orianna's pathing down, but I don't think he makes it in time.
Yeah, they managed to sneak this one away and will be good. In return though, I think Orianna might be able to clear out this ward. If she gets tagged by the X, it might be a sticky situation, but still able to back off. Pings down on the bot half, remember, still no level 6 for the Nocturne, so can't really turn this gank around. If the blue buff goes the way of the Olaf, it might be more than enough. Ragnarok already popped CC immune, so there's no worry in the world. But remember, when you're CC immune, you can't use the blast code, so you're going to be stuck on the across the cliff. Oh man, that is a fuse bad.
Yeah, we've been singing this guy's we've been singing Olaf's praises all game, all early game, and you just have to throw it away.
That is
with
hilarious.
An
I love it.
player like that.
It's like you forget, oh well, if you're CC immune, there's no way you can use the blast code. Thought she could ran out, was unable to do so.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they were trying to do over there. I mean, you have basically 4 enemy players in the vicinity, and your bot lane is not moving up to support you. You should not be going in for that sort of
I'm
fight. I
telling
mean,
you, man.
you can pop that ultimate run towards river and you're out,
Mhm.
but you went for the
Greedy,
Morgana instead. It was just way too greedy.
Greedy play for the Morgana. Once again, Alpha Chat coming in. This is Olaf. 2-1-1 ready to pick up the Cinderhawk. Pings down on the jungle though. You can see wards being placed on top of the blue buff, I believe, right now. Meanwhile, looking for the level 6 still. Off this camp should get it. And Mew again coming in the mid lane. Charge being used. Evaded swiftly though by the Orianna.
Yep, just able to get out by the skin of her teeth. I was going to praise the Olaf for having, you know, a better path, because once she got the dragon, could have just backed, reset, and moved up because Rift Herald was spawning.
Right.
And the Nocturne was just way too behind, because at the point of the Rift Herald spawn, she was just pathing down towards the bot side. But unfortunately, I think the Olaf has just thrown away a bit of the advantage. There. Is going to be able to pick up this Skull Crab, but beyond that, I don't think she can sneak away the Herald.
Would be a bit greedy if she goes for this play, because you can see that top side doesn't have any prior, right? So if Ornn comes in and looks to turn this fight, it might be a bit tricky. X landing on top of the Nocturne, though the slowest coming in. Shockwave not available just yet, so if they burst down this Nocturne rather, it might be more than enough. Flashing forward still. Paranoia used a bit too late, and now attention on top of the Orianna. The axe once more undertow, being stuck in the back of the Orianna. And this should be a kill being picked up. Barrier be damned, because that is a double for the Olaf. Super chat for 1-1, just walking into the jungle, has no cares in the world.
Yeah, I mean, that looked super sketchy when it started out, because you could see the Ornn pathing down to join the fight, and it was, hey, for a second it looked like it was going to be a 3v2. But once the Nocturne died, it was just, you know, the Olaf should just run through and just whack everyone until they did.
I wish the Nocturne used the Paranoia earlier, because that sort of disjoint in communication might have helped them win that fight. You could think that it was a game of inches right there, but oh wow, a lot of damage on top of the Morgana right now.
Yeah, like you say, if the Olaf, if the Nocturne didn't die, I think Mythus.lady could have turned back.
Yeah. Still being able to pick up the Scuttle Crab in the top half and get the Rift Herald. It's a big bonus and a big boon to the side of Winter right now. But Rose walking over with the control ward will spot this one out. I think they are actually pretty wise to this Lily White on the back half.
What is Snell
with
doing?
the control coming in. Snell is inside the pit, getting caught out. Actually, a lot of health being taken down. The Rift Herald now. The aggression swapping over to the side of Winter. So they are taking the bare brunt of the damage here. Mythus.lady still sticking around. Remember, Vladimir is nowhere near here, so this is a 3v2 at best. Meanwhile, bot lane kills going one apiece across. The both supports being picked up, or rather, the Aphelios falling already. Attention to the top side still. Call of the Forge God being used. Lily White has to throw this one around. Does not land it whatsoever. Whiffed in the wrong direction. Meanwhile, the Rift Herald being picked up by the Olaf. And this fight is going horribly in favor of Winter as they look to clean this one up. I'm not sure if they can really do anything here, as the Vladimir joins in will be able to pick up the Orianna as well. My goodness. They get the Rift Herald, they get the kills, and they are able to clean up this fight.
Credit over to Winter. They were just, you know, just teasing Mythus.lady. It's just like, yeah, you want to come in? Yeah, let's.
You
let's
might have a chance.
You might have a chance, until the Vladimir came into the fight. They just slammed the door in their opponent's face. Just cleaned up, basically. And yeah, credit to, you know, just baiting the enemy team.
Yeah. You could see that they were pretty precise about what time they wanted to go in and join the fight, because it was a 3v2. We were calling, oh well, they have control here. But all they had to do was buy space, buy time with the Kled, who, you know, remounts, has that buffer to play with, and Olaf, who is so far ahead that you can tank up a lot of the damage, allow the Vladimir to join and clean up.
Yeah, but now the question is, with this 5-1-2 and Olaf, where are you going to put the Rift Herald?
I think your best play right now is to just center it, open up the mid half of the map, and see if you can convert. Meanwhile, bot lane, Paranoia is available. Nocturne waiting in the wings. Wants to use this ultimate to convert on top of a kill. There's really no way for them to start this fight apart from a Dark Binding. So, unless Winter is a bit too greedy and overextends, I don't see them finding a fight here. Still have to look for the Dark Binding.
Okay, but take a look. Infernal Drake is up, and the Olaf, they're both hovering, they're going in.
Yep, they're going in. Oh, the backline Morgana should be able to fall here with the Ignite ticking down. They're still chasing down, and meanwhile, Infernum is available. Moonlight Vigil is up. They will be able to use the damage to turn it across. On top of the Caitlyn, Olaf jumping in. Super Chad. Make it 6-1-2. Why not? Undertow just being thrown across, and now popping the Rift Herald for good measure. They should be able to secure the bot half, as well as the mid.
Wait, how did Orianna die?
Solo kill!
Okay, solo kill. I mean, at this point, you're just feeling super good with your Winter. I mean, you were presented the opportunity for a counter gang. You take it, you win that fight. You put down Rift Herald, you managed to take down bot tier 1 tower. some plates on the mid-tier 1 tower and secure the Infernal Drake. And the Nocturne is just left sitting around taking his blue buff.
You know what's feels bad though? At the bot half when the fight started, the binding did not land. But I think Mythus ladies were a bit, you know, eager to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So when they made the call to go in, you could see, oh, well, Morgana already got bursted down from like 60 to 0.
Yep.
At that point, it's a disadvantageous fight. You have to kind of cut your losses and back off. But if full committed with the paranoia, it's game over.
Yeah, basically, Winter's doing to Mythus.lady what they got done to... Wait, the sentence doesn't make sense. What close behind esports did to them.
They're learning, incorporating it, they're growing.
Basically, what we've seen today is you pick Olaf and you win the game, and you shouldn't ban Xin Zhao because that's not what you're supposed to do.
You're so salty about the Xin Zhao, man. I love it. It's hilarious.
Very
it's actually really
I'm
funny.
not gonna let it go.
Yeah. It's like if they ban Olaf, then it wouldn't be a 6.2 Olaf in the game terrorizing you right now.
Yes. Okay, but right now they do the lane swap because they take the bot side turret. So this is just, you know, initiative coming in from the side of Winter.
Ragnarok being used, no effect of the shockwave on top of the Olaf, so you just run her down. Of course, CC immune is the order of the day for this Olaf, and with Conqueror as well as that Cinderhawk dude, this Olaf is now moving towards a righteous glory. There's very little you can do to dissuade the aggression coming through when she decides to press R and run at you.
She was thinking about going into the Nocturne earlier. It's just like, do I go in? Oh, they're going in top.
Call the Forge God being used, not knocking anyone up though, might just be an overcommitment once more. Look at all the damage on the back line. They already pick up the Ornn and now they already pick up the Morgana. They're turning it across on top of the Paranoia, the Nocturne as well. No Paranoia available whatsoever, my goodness.
What? I'm not sure what happened there.
It
I mean,
feels
you
so
had the
bad.
perfect setup. You whiff the call of the Force God, you try to go in anyway.
What I don't understand is, why didn't they just use the Paranoia to block vision for Call of the Forge God?
No, when they went in, they didn't have Paranoia. It just came off cooldown.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Should have perhaps waited a
Like,
few more seconds.
I don't know, 10 seconds is good?
Yeah.
Sit there, count to 10.
They just, you know, just forcing it far too early, and you know, you pay for it with your lives, I guess.
But it has been sort of what we've seen today from Mythus this game, at least. Too eager sometimes to pull the trigger, and they've really been paying for it in terms of deficits.
Hey, I mean, it's easier to teach an aggressive player to not go in than to teach a timid player to go in. So I guess with a bit more training, with a bit more practice, I think they could have.
Righteous Glory, they're jumping to the backline, but Ornn is here, so Lily White is available to defend her team, but they will have to concede this bot half of the map. So anything the light touches belongs to Winter right now. You can see the Vladimir, no fear whatsoever, just walking up, throwing E's, throwing Q's. Control ward over the wall will be cleared soon. Oh, good spell shield on the Stranglethorns though.
Yep, you can take a look right now. Mythus.lady is actually struggling a little bit to clear the vision.
It's like,
oh, here we go.
It's like, buddy, do you even want to fight at this point? He's level 11, the jungler is higher level than the top laner. I don't know why you're even sticking around. Flashing out, will be able to get to safety with the E though. Was that really worth it?
No, because he didn't get a wall.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, I don't know. Like I said, everything the light touches belongs to Winter. You just back off, you turtle up, you hope that they show mercy and not look to end too quickly so you can scale up, but let's check off, you know, what they need to do. Snowball to Caitlyn, not done, right? Mid lane, go even, not done. Nocturne, come out even as well so he can match ganks, not done. Looking very dire right now for Mythus.lady.
Yeah, at this point, you can't even clear a ward in your own jungle. The next few dragons should just go freely over to Winter. If Mythus.lady try to come into their own jungle to try to contest, the Olaf's just gonna run at you. There's nothing you can do.
And the thing is, they can force these fights so quickly as well with the Kled on top of the Olaf. This is like a dive buddy situation, the worst case situation in fact, where you use charge on Kled, movement speed on Olaf, runs to the back line. Taking this trade though, jumping away. Paranoia is available. Have to see whether they can pick up this kill. Call of the Forge God being used, remounted, flashing over the wall. Snell actually managing to get out with the Q jumping over the wall as well. Blast Cone though might see the situation change. Using the Dust Trail to chase down on top of the Nocturne. Not enough damage, I think, is the issue here. So they will be able to pick up the kill on Snell, but at what cost? Because Rift Herald was picked up on the top side by Olaf once more. Now they're going in for the fight. Inferno being used, the Moonlight Vigil. A lot of damage down on top of the Caitlyn, who was forced to use the heal.
I think that was best case scenario for Mythus.lady going into that bot side for that gank. Credit for finding the opportunity, but I think it's a little too late.
Definitely a bit too late here, especially with the mid tier 2 being taken out. The Rift Herald getting another charge is just the cherry on top of this advantageous Sunday for Winter right now.
Almost got caught by that Dark Mind. That would have been disastrous for snowballing this Aphelios, which I have to say is doing quite the good job right now. You know, in the previous game, this is where the Aphelios ended.
Yep.
An Essence Reaver and nothing else. So
QSS.
and QSS.
And the QSS.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got past that point, you're doing pretty well, 3-1 and 3. I should give some credit over.
I think when it counts, Velasquez is able to find the advantage with the team, right? So getting to the point of execution is the curious part. Nocturne hovering around looking like she wants to steal away this blue buff, but at what cost? Right now, Ragnarok has been popped. They're taking this 2v2, a lot of damage actually. Look at Velasquez, all the damage being put down. The Chakram's just flying back and forth. Even though the Shockwave is going to land, but I don't think they can confirm the kill because she's able to flash out, and now they will be able to find the finishing touches on top of the Olaf at least. Still, they trade 1 for 2 there. Not the best case scenario inside of the jungle.
It was the best case scenario for what they could get, I think. They shut down the Olaf, they get a bit of gold, and I think, honestly, that opportunity should not have been presented. That was just way too greedy coming in for Winter. Showing some signs of, you know, over-eagerness to end the game, and it just came back to bite them in the butt.
Right now, a bit of a small pause being put on the countdown timer for Mythus.lady. At least, you know, when they found the kill on Olaf, some time for them to reset. Still, the structures on top of, or rather, structures on the map are taking a bare brunt of damage still. We saw top tier 2 fall, mid tier 2 did go down earlier as well, and now the final inner structure might just go down, unless Mythus.lady have anything to say about it, which they do.
Yeah, even with the Olaf dead, you can see Winter continuing to turn up the pressure, pressuring both lanes top and bot, and it just makes it so much more difficult for Mythus.lady to find any way of clawing their way back into this game.
Taking stock of the items coming in, no real core item just yet on the side of Noah, only getting the warrior upgrade of the Stalkers. So that's, you know, the best case scenario for her right now. Meanwhile, we're still looking for the Zarnia's Hourglass on the Morgana, as well as the makings of a Zarnia's Hourglass on the Orianna, which is very much important because there is no way for them to deflect the Olaf. So best case scenario, buy some time with the immunity and the stasis coming through.
Worst case scenario, have no vision in your own jungle and
lose Baron?
And lose Baron, yeah.
They're walking up though, Zodic with the vision on the brush behind the red buff will be able to creep in. But it might just be a situation where it's too little too late. Down to 4,000, 3,000 already. Very low. Smite is available. Paranoia is up, but can he get inside the pit to steal? It will be able to steal away the Baron buff. So now they prolong their life in this game. A great knockup though coming in. They might be able to turn this fight. A lot of damage down, but Caitlyn not really in range to deal damage required. She's walking in on top of Vladimir, and that is going to be all she wrote for the Caitlyn as well as the Ornn. They steal the Baron, but at what cost? Because they get aced, and the only person left alive is the Orianna.
I honestly think that this Orianna was AFK or something. She was just standing in base for a few seconds. And even so, that was, I think, one of the best things that could have happened for Mythus.lady. You know, you go in and you steal the Baron. Sure, maybe you don't find yourself an advantage, but like you said earlier,
you deny the advantage.
You deny the advantage. You put a pause in that timer for the lose condition.
Right now, though, lose condition might still be in effect because they found the ace. The respawn timers are like 30 minutes-ish. There's still the issue of walking in and closing the game out. Whether the Orianna can defend is a whole other problem, right?
Yeah, I don't think your Orianna's going to be able to do too much. 2-5 and 2, you don't really have the damage. Sure, you have Baron.
She can escort the minions up. Maybe that's like ideal, but still.
Sure, health bars are looking a little low for the side of Winter, but they won't take the game here. They'll take an inhibitor and they're just going to back off. That's a smart move.
That's the smart move. At least you still have Baron buff for Orianna, so you know you put a small pause on the countdown clock. Don't overextend though, because if you walk out a bit too far, you still get chunked out. Right now, inner structure on the bottom half of the map is going to be the focus coming in for Winter. Like we said, the last inner structure actually.
Yeah, I think a little retroactively, if you know the Nocturne just went in and they didn't engage that fight afterwards, maybe they could have found themselves a better advantage, a better spot to be combating the rest of Winter in. But unfortunately, that's not how the cards fell. They're gonna reset. Now Winter have a significant item advantage, and you do have to think that if they force a fight, they're just going to win it and take the game.
All eyes on the Vladimir in these fights. Although we've been talking a lot about Olaf 10, 2, and 4, you know, super alpha just running in. This is the the nightmare for most AD carry players because Vladimir has hit that three item point where just she jumps into the backline or he jumps into the backline and just eviscerates you because of the full combo of the Hemoplague as well as the E and Q, right? So most people only dream of getting to this point, but right now because it's so accelerated in team fights, there's very little you can do to deal with this Vladimir coming in.
You don't even need Vladimir. Oh, okay. Goodbye.
I'm not even gonna cast it. I know it's done.
That's what you get for banning Xin Zhao.
The tilt is real.
Look, all I'm saying
is so tilted.
All I'm saying is that these solo kills should not be going through. And the only reason why they're going through right now is because the Olaf was able to find such a huge advantage early on in the game.
Have you seen, you know, Lemony Snicket's a series of unfortunate events? Like, they all lead up to the final point, right? So it starts with bending Xin Zhao, not banning Olaf. And then losing the top side, the Scuttle Crab control because you overextended. And then from then on, it just kind of snowballed on top of each other to this point right now where there's a massive 9,000 gold advantage, or rather, 9,000 if my math is 8,000 gold advantage in favor of Winter and just looking to close this game out.
Yeah, they're pressuring top and bot right now. They have mid lane open, so those minions should be filling in sometime soon. So all they have to do really right now is just continue keeping up the pressure in all three lanes.
Yeah.
Pushing in, and eventually that base is gonna crack.
I like that, you know, Olaf immediately made the call. Okay, I'm gonna go set mid wave, make sure it's pushing, and then we'll walk over and guess what? We're gonna get Cloud Soul right now because this is the fourth one. And with Cloud Soul, auto attacks lower the cooldown on your ultimates if I'm not wrong. So this Vladimir Hemoplague is gonna be up every 20 seconds. Ragnarok is gonna be on permanent availability, right? I don't see how team fights are gonna fare well for Mythus.lady as this Cloud Soul is being taken.
Yeah, just gonna watch it fall. No assistance required. Just gonna take it, no problem. And now we go back to fighting.
Force on top side, on top of the Kled, but charge is available and will be used to get out of this fight because they committed so much on the top half. I think there is a window here for the ladies on Winter to at least walk in and siege. Oh, moving in. Shockwave only catching a single Zyra, but a lot of damage down on top of the backline. We can see this is the late game Vladimir coming in. Still though, the Hemoplague was not enough to find all the kills, having to flash out and be content with the one pickup on the support for a support.
Yeah, support for support still going in the favor of Winter though. I mean, the Zyra at this point not going to be doing that much damage. Your main carries are online. And at this point, you're forcing Mythus away from their tower. It should just be a free take.
Yeah. I was expecting the Hemoplague to one-shot the backline, but we're not at that point yet, so
Soon.
thank goodness for Mythus.lady. Still enough, like you mentioned, to dissuade the defense, force them away, give you the structure for free. It's gonna be able to pick up the buffs on the map and reset here, hopefully.
Yeah, resetting here. They're just gonna continue building on their item advantage. Mythus right now, you just have to, you know, hunker down in your base. Continue to farm minions until you're at least even in items with Winter. And honestly, I just don't see that happening.
The good news here for Mythus, though, is that there's very little left on the map to take. Look at the cooldown, or at least the respawn timers. 1 minute on Baron, fine. But Elder Dragon is a 4.5 minute window away.
Yeah.
So you can still concede the Baron, at least, you know, hold in your base if you need to. It's the Elder Dragon that really loses you the game. So right now there is still some breathing room for them, even though they're slowly getting choked out.
I don't see a world where they win if they give away the Baron though. I think once you get the Baron on Winter, it's just game over because honestly, even if you don't die in the ensuing fight, you don't have enough wave clear to deal with all those minions streaming into your base. So this Baron, I think, is just crucial in how the rest of the game plays out.
Okay, we'll have to see if the sentiment is reflected similarly on the side of Mythus.lady. Remember that in the previous Baron take, they actually had a very good chance at not only stealing, but turning the fight around with the Call of the Forge God. So if they can do the same thing, it might just be a recipe for success. But right now, attention focus on top lane. The Ornn now having to charge away a lot of damage actually on top of the tank now. Lily White, I don't think she's getting out of this one, so no Call of the Forge God available for the next fight. Dark Binding will land on Aphelios Velasquez. Actually, no issue whatsoever. In fact, stacking crit items to get to that point where every auto attack is going to be critical.
Yeah, and there's just a 4v5 for the remainder of the next 30 seconds, so Baron is up. You would think that there's no way they contest this, especially with the Vladimir and Kled pressuring their bottom two lanes, so...
Oh man, look at the Chakram damage. My goodness, it's just melting the health bar of the Baron, and this is a classic late game Aphelios build. Sure, you give up the Kled here. Gladly, in fact, you sacrifice the top laner because your team has now gotten the Baron buff. Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Woo! That's the way, boys. And you give up mid inhibitor. It's just
Alright.
okay. Well, they're rotating back, but the structure is
I don't think you want
gone,
this, oh
so
buddy. Oh buddy.
we're at that point, boys.
Yeah, we're at that point. Hemo Plague full combo, one shots the ADC. Still has the Zonya's Hourglass though, so we'll buy some space teleport coming in as well from Kled.
They
Call
gotta
the
get
Forge God being used. Will be able to knock up the Vladimir, but might not be able to find the kill in the end. The sustain is more than enough to keep the Vladimir alive. They clean up the backline, Orianna, Morgana all dying, and next to fall might just be the Ornn here as Stranglethorns is being used.
Just Vladimir things.
Just late game Vladimir things. Ladies and gentlemen, Mythus.lady unfortunately not having the best time this qualifiers. We'll hope to see them the next one, but at least Winter advanced forward in the lower bracket.
Yeah, I like that they were able to go in. They were very decisive in going in fact, and honestly, they just have to temper their aggression a little bit more in the early game.
I like that, you know, after the first game for today, Winter was like, okay, we lost to the Olaf multiple threat composition, right? So this is something we can try to incorporate into our own style. Although it wasn't perfect, I have to admit, you know, a lot of it was off the back of Olaf snowballing. So if the junglers are, you know, more evenly matched in a sense, it might be better. I think this team at least shows some semblance of fight in them for them to progress into the upper bracket, into the finals. Not completely impossible.
Yeah. I'm not gonna meme it. I honestly think if you're gonna pick Nocturne, Olaf should not be going through.
Yeah. Not the Sinjao Ben that you're looking for. So guys, with that we will be going for a short break. When we come back though, we will be looking at the next set of matches. I'm very excited actually to find out how the Lannister as well as Close My Esports match did go.
Absolutely.
So when we get the results, we will update you. But for now guys, we'll be going for a break. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.